Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Experts, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is happening. My name is Jess and we do these videos every single day, and every single day I talk until I'm out of breath on that sentence. So please don't forget, if you are new here, to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. Let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin first of all. We have Bitcoin sat at $27,443, down another 0.5% within the last 24 hours. And Ethereum also down almost 1% to 1,822. In the last week or so, we've just seen a gradual overall decline in the prices of these assets. Obviously, we've had some volatility, we've had some nice moves to the upside within that, but the overall trend every single day this week, it's been around a 0.5 to 1% decline over and over again within the last 24 hours. So let's take a look at what's going on within the cryptocurrency news. I would say today it's pretty interesting, pretty exciting news in today's video. More exciting than usual. We're not talking about all the classic regulation again and again. We've got some different things in the news today, and I found it quite interesting to look through these this morning. So I hope you do too. Let's take a look at what's been going on. First of all, we are going to be discussing, what are we discussing first? Let me set it up. The tax loopholes. So Biden has absolutely ruffled some feathers within the cryptocurrency industry within the last 24 hours. So he's put out this tweet. Let's look at the tweet first of all, and then we'll discuss the article a little bit further. So we can see here that Biden has tweeted, "We don't have to guess what MAGA House Republicans value. They're telling us. We think Congress should cut tax loopholes that help wealthy crypto investors, $18 billion. Thus, MAGA Republicans think Congress should cut food safety inspections, $15 billion. Now, I was just taking a look at the replies to this tweet, and some people have summarized this pretty nicely. Wendy O has tweeted, "With this blatant lie, you have successfully turned every Democratic crypto enthusiast into Republican and lost their vote. How can there be crypto tax loopholes when you and the rest of the public servants can't even identify legally what crypto is?" We've also seen Ched's tweet, a reply showing that Twitter actually flagged President Biden's tweet as a concern, saying there is no evidence of loopholes to avoid the tax that you have to pay when investing and trading in virtual currency. So he's been caught out twice here in these tweets. Let's take a look at this article and see what's going on within the cryptocurrency community as a result of this tweet. So the US President Joe Biden drew the ire of the crypto community on Tuesday following a tweet that called for eliminating tax loopholes in crypto that could save the government up to $18 billion. Now, how can we fix the tax loopholes in crypto when they can't define what a cryptocurrency is? We've seen so many problems around the clarity of regulation in cryptocurrency. I mean, to fix these problems, we need to define a cryptocurrency. That's the first step. So you can see here, the tweet also aimed at Republicans for prioritizing the move to cut food safety inspections instead of tackling the tax loopholes that help wealthy crypto investors. We don't have to guess what MAGA House Republicans value. They're telling us. Now, where are the wealthy crypto investors? So a crypto community hit back at President Biden's tweet, as few could wrap their heads around the loopholes mentioned and how the estimated $18 billion potential saving from wealthy crypto investors came about. Your facts are off here, said Fat Man, a pseudonymous crypto researcher. In 2022, total corporate profits in the US stood at $11.8 trillion US. In the same time period, the total crypto market shrank by $1.4 trillion. The crypto market is both much smaller and fell heavily. We both know where the loopholes really are. So others have got annoyed and replied to these tweets. One other guy has said, the founder of Dogecoin has said, "You also realize most American crypto users aren't rich, but are using crypto because they don't feel like they have enough to make ends meet because of you guys." And we can see here also, is the US targeting crypto tax loss harvesting? We did see a rise in tax loss harvesting within the last couple of months. We did report on this just a couple of weeks ago. We can see here that the current rate of tax loss harvesting would have cost the government around $16 billion when Bitcoin crashed by 30% in 2018, which is still below the figure put out by the president. So this isn't really making sense to people within the cryptocurrency community. A lot of people are very aggravated motivated by this tweet that he's put out here, targeting wealthy crypto investors. Not everybody in crypto is wealthy, obviously. We have seen the response to this in the article. There are many different debates to be had here in the comments of this tweet, so if you want to check it out, it's definitely worth the read. There's some interesting replies to that tweet there, and it's an interesting debate to be had. Let's move on to the next article here, because we have had some positive news from the US within the last 24 hours. We have seen that the US CPI has come in below forecast at 4.99%. So this is the inflation in the US year on year. Now, previously in April's data, it was at 5%. And now it's dropped again to 4.9%. Now the inflation rates in the US have increased all the way up to 9.1% in July 2022 year on year. And we are now down to 4.9%. So that is a massive, massive drop. We've almost dropped half. But we still have a way to go. The aim is to get inflation back down to 2%. Now the US are being a lot more successful on this mission than the UK are. The UK inflation is incredibly high. And US actually are increasing their interest rates pretty drastically, but it's creating the response they were looking for to decrease inflation rates. All they need to do is increase the interest rates, and then that will sort of balance out the markets. However, in the UK, we haven't seen the same positive effect. We've had increasing interest rates, but we haven't seen that decline in the inflation that we are looking for. But in the US, it has been successful. We've seen another decline of inflation year on year. This is what we all want to see. So that is another positive thing to come out of the news within the last 24 hours. We can't complain about that. That's what we've all been hoping for. Let's move on to more general cryptocurrency news. We have Grayscale to expand crypto ETF offerings and files registration with the SEC. So the digital asset management firm has also formed Grayscale Funds Trust to manage its crypto exchange traded funds independently. So they are one of the world's largest digital currency asset managers, and they have released 3 new crypto exchange traded funds. So these are the ETFs, and the registrations are currently pending in a filing with the US SEC. So they're trying to create cryptocurrency ETFs that mean that traditional investors can invest in cryptocurrencies without having to learn any new processes. They can invest in crypto in assets that are exposed to cryptocurrency fluctuations without having to get into the cryptocurrency space. They can invest through their normal traditional methods, and they don't have to learn about how to store your crypto, how to buy your crypto, how to KYC on a cryptocurrency exchange. You can just invest in a traditional asset that's price is pegged to the cryptocurrency market. So this helps to drive adoption as well. So we can see here that they have applied to have all of these ETFs be created, but the SEC have been stopping these for quite a while, and we've known about this for quite a while. So let's take a look at what's going on here. We can see the US asset management firm already has over 10 crypto trust funds. The recent release aligns with the company's plans to expand its franchise and enhance its position within the ETF ecosystem. So Grayscale's global head of ETFs has said, "We are proud to have launched our first products in the US and Europe in 2022, and today's filing demonstrates our continued commitment to offering investors innovative ways to access the digital economy and transformative technologies using a familiar, trusted, regulated investment vehicle, the ETF." So alongside the new crypto ETFs, the leading asset manager also created Grayscale's Fund Trust, a Delaware statutory trust structure allowing Grayscale to manage its products as it continues with the expansion independently. And the new ETFs are each a series of the new funds trusts. So these are not tradable yet. While the new ETF registration statement awaits approval from the SEC, Grayscale has notified that the investment vehicles cannot be sold or purchased by the public, and they can only be traded when they attain qualification under securities laws. So that's what's going on there. Let's take a look at the next article here. Before we do, please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. As I said, we do these live streams every single weekday, so if you do enjoy, please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We have the UK individual pleads guilty to 2020 Twitter high-profile hack. So a UK individual has pleaded guilty for hacking into Twitter accounts 2 years after a US teenager did so. So we can see here the name of Joseph James O'Connor, who's 23 years old and pleaded guilty to playing a role in the infamous Twitter hack in 2020. So at the age, he must have been around 2021, and the plea was submitted on Tuesday following the extradition of the US from Spain last month, according to a press press release by the Department of Justice. So he used social engineering techniques to obtain unauthorized administrative access to high-profile Twitter accounts in July 2020, including that of President Joe Biden, Kanye West, and the current owner Elon Musk. So according to reports, O'Connor and their co-conspirators promoted crypto scams using the accounts and netted at least $120,000 per report. So that is a very interesting hack. I remember this taking place at the time, and it was absolutely shocking to see that such a big profile like Twitter has these vulnerabilities that allow 21-year-olds to get access to such high-profile accounts. So we can see here that O'Connor, also known online as Plug Walk Joe, was accused of hacking a high-profile TikTok account associated with a public figure, stalking and threatening a minor victim, and conducting complex SIM swap attacks to steal $794,000 in cryptocurrency from a crypto firm reportedly based in Manhattan. So we can see here, he is to be sentenced next month, and he's pleading guilty to several charges, including conspiracy to commit wire fraud and conspiracy to commit money laundering. Those charges carry a maximum penalty of 20 years in jail. And so there's a huge, huge amount. He will also forfeit $794,000 and make restitution to the victims of their crimes. So this is a huge, huge case. It's a very interesting one, as I just said, to see that such a big website has such big vulnerabilities, and to see that a 21-year-old has taken action on those vulnerabilities is insane. And we can see here, obviously, he doesn't seem like too much of a nice guy, that he's harassed, threatened, and extorted his victims, causing substantial emotional harm. So this is what's happened there today. Let's move on to the next alt. Next alt, I was reading this chat at the same time then. JB has replied in the chat saying, now is a very nice time to be slowly accruing altcoins. Now, obviously, I can't give a financial advice on this channel, but that's what I'm personally doing with my own portfolio. Let's take a look at the next article here. We have Tether reports $1.48 billion in net profits and $2.44 billion reserve surplus for Q1 of 2023. That's almost $1.5 billion in just 3 months. That is absolutely insane. So there was a lot of volatility within the altcoin space within Q1 of this year. We did see Silicon Valley Bank shut down and get acquired, and they are holding a huge percentage of USDC's reserves. So that caused the price of USDC to depeg from the dollar. We then saw huge problems around that. Then USDC managed to repeg to the dollar. We then saw fears around other stable coins within the industry, and overall, people continue to funnel their money from other stable coins back into USDT. USDT has had such a bad name for such a long period of time. They haven't been able to show that they are auditing themselves correctly, that they have the correct reserves over the years. But over time, they've improved upon themselves. And now they're trying to show that they have all the reserves that they need. They have audited themselves correctly, and they will continue to do so. And over that time period, they've shown that they can continue to be pegged to the dollar through the turbulence of what's going on within the cryptocurrency market. And that is something that other stablecoins haven't been able to provide us. So again, people are moving their money more and more into USDT and favoring USDT over other stablecoins. Now, we have actually seen a switch slightly, that we are looking at other currency-based stablecoins taking dominance in the market. So stablecoins that are pegged to the euro, to the pound, to the yuan, all different currency-based stablecoins. The flow is changing. It's not all stablecoins based on the US dollar. That the dominance of those is slightly declining. However, of the dollar-based stablecoins, USDT has definitely got the best name for it, reputation for it at the moment. So Jason Smith says, how does Tether make a profit if it's stablecoin pegged to the dollar? So the actual service they offer is a stablecoin pegged to the dollar. However, they have all of these funds. They can invest these funds and do things with them. So they can see, obviously, they have the different ways of reserving their funds. And they also have some precious metals, some bitcoins, and some other things like that that can help them create some nice profits as well. So let's move on to the next article here. We don't expect USDT to hold all of their reserves in cash. They hold their reserves in different things. So let's take a look at the next article here. HM Revenue and Customs to gain right to seize crypto from UK tax evaders. A lot of talk about tax in today's stream. Let's take a look at this. HM Revenue and Customs to gain right to seize crypto from UK tax evaders. So they will seize funds and assets from the online digital wallets of tax evading companies. They will be essentially, if somebody in the UK with a company tries to evade tax, the tax can be taken away because the HMRC can now confiscate cryptocurrencies. That's the long and short of this article. Is that the phrase, long and short? I don't know. I feel like that's the phrase. Let me know in the chat if I'm wrong. But if you want to know more information about this article, make sure to go to cryptosavingexpert.com, the best cryptocurrency news website out there. Let's take a look at the next article here. We have Jared from Subway.eth profits $34 million in sandwich attacks. Now, this is a very famous... This has been all over Twitter within the last couple of days. Let's quickly, first of all, I've just had a quick scan through this article because it's pretty interesting. Let's discuss what a sandwich attack is. So what happens is, the opportunist will find a pending transaction on a network of their choice, for example, Ethereum. And when they see this opportunity, one order is placed just before the trade and one after. So they're sandwiching that transaction, they're front running and they're back running that transaction. So the original pending transaction from another user is here, and they front run and they back run it. So they create that sandwich. I've just clapped down the microphone. Hopefully that didn't hurt anyone's ears if you wearing headphones. What we can see here is the attacker will run front run and back run simultaneously, sandwiching the initial pending transaction in between. And the sandwich attack is intended to manipulate asset values by placing these orders and other pending transactions. The attacker will first purchase the asset and the user is exchanging to, for example, using link to trade to Ethereum, knowing that the price of Ethereum is rising. So then the offender will acquire Ethereum at a lower price to enable the victim to purchase at a higher value. The attacker will then sell the Ethereum later on at a higher price. So it's kind of like an arbitrage trade, but just by sandwiching one trade. So that's what a sandwich attack is, and we can see that this creator has made a bot that has been creating sandwich attacks left, right, and center, and they've actually been able to be a lot more profitable than the typical sandwich attack bots, because the bot excels over its rivals in sandwich attacks as its capability to hold such a significant number of tokens in its account, something unusual for a sandwich attack bot. So it has this advantage over other sandwich attack bots, and this has made it incredibly profitable, creating a profit of $34 million. So let's move on to the next article here. Very interesting article, that one. But let's move on to the next one. If you want more information on that, as I said, go to cryptosavingexpert.com. We're just recapping all the news here today, and then we'll take a look at the price of Bitcoin, and then we'll shut down. But we've got some more to go here. IMF warns Zimbabwe against adoption of gold-backed digital currency. So they've recommended conventional measures for tackling economic issues like tighter monetary policies. So what you can see here is the IMF has warned Zimbabwe against adopting a gold-backed digital currency to fix microeconomic issues such as volatility in the local currency, suggesting that the country liberalise its foreign exchange market instead. Interesting conversations to be had here. I wouldn't say that a gold-backed digital currency is a bad idea. In fact, it would be a pretty good idea in my opinion. If you want more information on that, obviously go to the website. But what essentially the IMF is saying here, don't do this. But if Zimbabwe have a gold-backed digital currency, there are many benefits to this. So obviously, gold is actually a currency that our fiat currencies was backed against for a long period of time, and then we stopped backing our fiat currencies with gold, and the price, and then we just were able to inflate our currencies and cause all of these problems. We actually have a really good course on this. If you are interested on the history of money and how gold was used to back fiat currencies and how it was taken away and the long-term effects that has on fiat systems, and how fiat systems now no longer last long periods of time, we see fiat currencies fail time after time after time. We've seen that throughout history, and we are now reaching a point in time where the current financial system has reached the point in which it's around the average time at which something else should come in to replace it. So say the average fiat currency lasts around 100 years. We're literally like around 95 years into this one right now. So we are at that point in time where we may see a big change within the financial system based on what's happened in history. If you want to hear more information about this, learning about the different fiat currencies, how we used to be backed by gold, how we are no longer, the importance of gold and why a gold-backed digital currency may be a good idea, if you go to the courses section here, now this is a really, really interesting course, and you go to the Bitcoin section and we can go to Bitcoin and digital gold. This course, I think this is the course that me and TMG filmed some content for together, so you can get videos from both me and TMG, or you can get some from just me and two of the others as well. But this course here is genuinely very, very interesting. It goes into a lot of detail, but it's very, very interesting, and it offers you a lot of different perspectives about what's going on in there as well. Nothing's biased in there. It tells you the facts, and then it tells you the pros and cons of those facts, and it goes into a lot of detail on the history and why gold is such an important asset, and why Bitcoin can be the digital gold, and how that is really important as well. And so I definitely recommend that course. Obviously it is one of our longer ones, but if you want to go more into depth in those kind of things, make sure to do that. Also, I feel like if you're going to have a debate with someone about Bitcoin and you want some facts to throw at them, then it's a good course to have under your belt. Let's take a look at the next article here. We have US IRS lodges tax claims worth $44 billion against FTX empire. So they're demanding $44 billion in tax payments against the collapsed FTX and its affiliate companies. FTX has $7.3 billion in liquid assets, and they are trying to liquidate all of their assets whilst paying off all of these problems left, right, and center. I mean, the new CEO of FTX has taken on a big task, and they need to somehow sort out all of these problems. The liquidators, the lawyers, they all have a massive problem on their hands. But we do know that FTX do have a huge amount of liquid assets, and this is what sparked rumors that FTX may actually reboot as a cryptocurrency exchange. But we haven't heard yet what else is coming from this. We will have to keep an eye on this. It's a very interesting story as well. And now the US IRS are after $44 billion of tax as well. So we will keep an eye on that. But let's take a look now at the price of Bitcoin and see what's going on in the markets. Bitcoin has been incredibly volatile, as it always is when we hear the CPI data. As I said, for those that have just joined, we did hear yesterday that the US's inflation rate year on year has dropped from 5% to 4.9%, lower than expected, which is definitely a positive thing. So what we can see here is we've seen some volatility within the markets, as always, but we have now started to settle down here at $27,440. We have this zone of resistance that we've been in for a very long time. Now let's get this correct. This is around here, and we have actually used that as a resistance now and started to move to the downside. I'm looking at the zone of support at 26,900 to 26,600, but if we manage to break through this zone of resistance at 27,870, then we could be looking back up at those $28,600 to $28,800 levels as well. So we're still within this price range, as I said, for weeks now. I feel like this has been about a month where we've had these supports and resistances drawn on our charts, and the price has just been respecting them very, very nicely. So we're not changing much on here. We can just see that the price is fluctuating within these price ranges and that it's respecting those levels, so we shouldn't change them. So we don't just faff around and put new lines here on the chart every single day. We want to keep these supports and resistances strong. The more a level of support and resistance is used, the stronger it becomes. So that's what we are seeing there. But that is all we have for today's stream, really. I just wanted to run through the price of Bitcoin. Let's take a look at the RSI and the MACD before we finish off today's stream. So RSI, MACD, and we can see here that the MACD is pretty neutral. If anything, it's got bullish momentum. The RSI is neutral, but if anything, it's oversold. So maybe things aren't looking too bad. Maybe we are going to see a nice turnaround. But right now, we are definitely in a downtrend. As I said at the start of today's stream, this week, we've just been coming onto these live streams with and down another 1%, down another 0.5% within the last 24 hours. Overall, the 24-hour waves have just been a slight slow bleed, but we can see here that we are creating lower highs and lower lows as well. So this is a downtrend at the moment. Just to keep an eye on this, though, we do trust the trend. What's the phrase? I should know this phrase. The trend is your friend until the end, and currently we are creating lower highs and lower lows on the smaller time frame. So we are in a downtrend right now, but we will keep an eye on this. We also have the CME gap, which opens tomorrow. That's my favorite time of the week when we have that CME gap. So we will be reporting on that tomorrow. So make sure to tune back in tomorrow at 11 a.m. BST time to stay up to date with the latest cryptocurrency news and to stay up to date with what's going on in the markets. That's all we have for today. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow. Goodbye.